everybody. How are we doing tonight? Okay, I think everything is okay on my end. Hopefully you guys can see me, hear me. Everything looks like it's should be. Alrighty. So welcome to tonight's live stream. Hi Lisa. Hi BZ Furfur. Sona, hi. Hi, Vian Mom, welcome. Hi Mina. Hi Steve. We're doing well, thanks, and I hope you are too. We are happy to have you too, Zona. It has been a while. I know you've been crazy busy too. Hi Laura. Hi Vivian. I know, Lisa, it is hard to see who everybody is. Zona, yes, there is a lot of new happenings here. Hi Amy. Alrighty. Okay, making sure. Hi Connie. Did I get everybody? Hi Larry. Hi Rick. Hi Terry. Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely a lot of changes going on here of late. Hi Rhonda. Let's let people kind of filter in here, and then I'll kind of dive into some of the big changes that we're kind of transitioning into. Hi Cynthia. So glad to have everybody here tonight. So everybody just kind of keep filing in, saying hello, and I'll just go ahead and start burning here, and we'll keep an eye on the chat. And then here in a few minutes, hopefully everybody will kind of be settled in, and then we'll talk about some of the big changes that are in the works. I started working on this project, oh gosh, I don't know, it's been years, it seems like, that I started this one. And life just kind of got away, and I never got back to it. So you guys got to join me as I worked on that big picture of the woman in the archway. And I thought, I still have a lot to do on that, but we'll shake things up and we'll work on a dragon tonight. I enjoy reading a book series called The Dragon Riders of Pern, and realized that I had not done a wood burning of a dragon. So, well, at the time, we did a little one for one of our beginner live streams, I do believe. And that was fun. But not quite as realistic as this one. I can zoom in for sure, Lisa. Hi, Mellow Yellow. Glad to have you here. Alrighty. Alright, let me see if I can get a better view here so you guys can see both. There we go. I'll start working on these plates here, and I'll jump around from place to place. Cool. You're welcome, Lisa. Yeah, I really love this dragon too. I think it's quite dynamic and just beautiful. There's a lot of fun and different textures in this one as well. Mina, yes, it was a beginner's project. Cool. Yep, we had fun with that. Dragon. We had kind of started it out with it being more of kind of a line art, and then we shaded it a bit more. Hi, Michelle. we are starting in on this dragon here. And if there's a certain area that you guys would like to see me work on, feel free to throw that in the chat there as well. And I can kind of bounce around here a little bit. We have some nice ridges that I'm trying to darken up. This whole section here under his little armpit there. Just a lot of soft shading in these areas, and we'll kind of build up our layers a bit. Zona, you did a baby dragon last year. That's right. That was cool. Very, very neat. Yeah, it was, had some fractals on that one too, I believe. Hi, Desiree. Hi, Estella. Very cool. Okay, that's what I thought, Zona. Yeah, those was the fractals. That was really cool. Now, did you do the fractals yourself, or was that like a collaboration piece? Because I know that burning the fractals can be quite dangerous if you're, you know, like me and you don't know what you're doing with electricity. Sure is beautiful when it's done, though. It was a collaboration, Zona. Okay, cool. That's what I thought. Yep, that's a neat way to combine the art forms. They do look like scales. Absolutely, Larry. Zona, you guys are thinking about doing the fractals yourself. Wow. Yep, just stay safe. Make sure you read up on all of that. I would probably electrocute myself for sure. I'll leave that to the experts. I know when I started this dragon, it was more of a white dragon, and I was really kind of struggling to get enough shading in here. So I got a little frustrated, and I kind of just put this project off to the side, but I'm going to jump back in here and see what I can do to kind of darken things up and add more midtones. May just have to make stuff up, but that's okay too. Hi, Tracy. Let's see. Lisa, you love the feather challenge. Awesome. Okay. So that is one of our fun new additions to Mighty Networks. So anybody that is not over on our paid community, you're missing out, because we're revamping it this year, and it is really cool. There are so many new spaces on Mighty Networks. Let's see, we have we got rid of the chat because that was a little bit confusing. We have the community campfire, which is our normal community page where we can just talk and visit about whatever. There's a place specifically for work in progress photos and feedback. There's a place to ask questions, just general questions. There's another place for business related questions. It's a business hub. So if you're wondering, about pricing or stuff like that, it's easy to post in there. We have Critter Corner, where everybody can share pictures of their lovely little furry, feathered, or otherwise friends. And it's just really neat. We've updated all the graphics. It's a beautiful, beautiful site. Much easier to navigate. The pattern library is up. We have a live stream library, and you guys have seen that, where you go to access the previous live streams. There's also a pattern gallery. where you can find all of the past live streams. They're all organized by skill level. They're very easy to navigate. Yeah, and we have a wood burning gallery. Thank you, Mina, where you can just show off some of your more finished pieces. And another thing is our challenges. We're doing a monthly challenge, and this month's challenge is feathers. So you can go there and take a look. I have patterns available with a beginner feather, an intermediate feather, and a more advanced feather. So you can pick and choose which feather you want to do, or you can wood burn all three of them for the monthly challenge. And then when you're done, post that in the monthly challenge little space. And at the end of the month, everybody who participated will put your names in a hat and pull out a name, and whoever wins gets a free pattern of their choice on Wood Burning University. So any tier level. So, oh, yep, and there's, thanks, Mina, there's also an introduce yourself section to get to know people a little bit better. And Terry, no, you're fine. Terry's question was, were you wrong in doing your own feather? Nope, absolutely not. It said in there, you know, these are just guidelines. If you want to create your own feather, that's totally fine. Yep. Good question there, Terry. And so, a new thing moving forward, I've really been trying to hone in on my schedule to see what all I'm able to do with the upcoming year. The Friday night live streams, I'm pretty much going to still be working on Friday nights, but I'm going to be switching things up a bit. So our chat and burn sessions here are only an hour long, and I'll just work on a project, and we'll chit chat and kind of visit, and I'll show how to do certain aspects here. The beginner live streams are no longer going to be on Monday nights. It'll be the first Friday night of each month will be our beginner-based live stream. And that beginner-based live stream will be that month's monthly challenge. So like we did here in January, I burned a feather for the beginner live stream, and then that challenge for the month was feathers. So next month is going to be leaf studies. So on the first Friday of each month, I will do a leaf study and kind of get you guys ready for that, and we'll work through some of those challenges, and then that'll be your monthly challenge. Will be for February will be a leaf study, and again there'll be a beginner, intermediate, and advanced kind of option, or you can burn your own feather leaf, that too. Amy, yes, thank you for joining. It's wonderful to have you there. Yeah, just go ahead and introduce yourself whenever you want. It's totally fine. Yes, on Mighty Networks, the Bear Den. Hi, Pyrographia. Pariba. Welcome. Mina, yeah, I think it is going to be tough to pick a winner. So with with everybody who participates in the monthly challenge, I'm not going to pick one. I think we're just going to draw it out of a hat and make it kind of a random winner, because I don't know that I can pick either. Yes, February will be a leaf, L-E-A-F. So that's kind of the new schedule moving forward with the beginner-based live streams and the monthly challenges. Let's see. I'm going to be hosting an online workshop, I think every other month. After putting together my first online workshop, I'm thinking that I can't do one every month. I can do one probably every other month. And then the master classes that I wanted to do, I'll do 2 of those a year. So probably June and November. And the master class will be a month-long focused session on, probably the 2 that I'm going to do this year is one on in-depth shading and then fur. All kinds of fur. So those will be 2 different master classes as well. So, And then I'm going to kind of just flip-flop the other nights of the other Friday nights with still working that out. But I should be available at least 4 Fridays each month. Okay. So Connie, yes, that will give, you're saying that'll give you time to practice what you've shown on beginner before the contest ends. Yes, that's what I'm thinking as well. So the first Friday of the month, I'll show you what we're going to do and then turn you guys loose. You'll have the entire month and just submit your wood burning by the last day of the month. And then we'll just draw somebody out of a hat, I think. Mina will take a look at the, make sure that we can do that. Okay. Terry, you like the challenges. It makes you do it. That is so fantastic. I love that you participated, and hopefully it just, you know, gets your creative juices flowing and makes you pick up the wood burner. And just a little project is all it takes to kind of get back in the swing of things. And so that's what the monthly challenges are about. So I'm going to lightly outline some of these talons here. Okay, Larry is asking if you're already enrolled in a monthly plan, do you have to subscribe to that plan again in the Bear Den? I don't think so. Rick, your printer isn't working. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah, you can kind of, you can either freestyle, kind of freehand those feathers, or sketch them out ahead of time with a pencil. That'd be fine. If you have a local library, sometimes they can help you print out items as well. Okay, so Larry, you're on the Bear Den and you don't see all the new features. So make sure, for anybody that's on the Bear Den, all of those features are going to be on the left-hand side of the screen in kind of the menu areas. There'll be kind of big collections, big tags, and they'll have a little arrow next to them. And so if you click on that arrow, it'll drop down and you should see all of those other spaces underneath. Vian Mom, this is not the same dragon that is in the pattern gallery. I don't have this one available as a pattern yet, but I could, if you guys would like that. I can get this posted up on Wood Burning University. Oh, you found it, Larry. Awesome. Okay, Lisa is asking if I'm going to be doing new patterns on Fridays. I don't know yet. This is all kind of just taking shape as I get it figured out. And I appreciate your feedback on that as far as new patterns each Friday. I don't know. I'm trying to switch from putting so much free content on wood burning or on YouTube. I'm trying to scale back a little bit to be able to keep teaching, because it's tough financially to make all this work. So I'm having to make some changes, and I want them to be best for you guys and manageable for me, because sometimes it gets a little overwhelming with what I'm trying to do. And on that note, the just for transparency and to let you guys know up front, both the online workshops and the master classes will be paid events, but members on Mighty Networks will get a big discount on those. So just to let you know that is kind of the path that I am taking moving forward. And this is all just kind of playing things by ear, trying to make, like I said, things better for you guys and sustainable for me. So, okay, cool. Yeah, Lisa, I love your feedback. Everybody, let me know, how you like the new updates, things that you'd like to see maybe differently. Because I can't read your minds, so it helps a bunch if you let me know. You can either just send an email or in a chat or anything like that to let me know what you think and how I can do better. Good, Larry. Awesome. I love that you like the new Mighty Networks. It is, I think, easier to navigate as well. Thanks, Vine Mom. Yeah, absolutely, Zona. This is my business, and I wish I could just give everything away for free, but I can't. I will still be here most every Friday night, so that's not changing. I just have to kind of scale back a little bit on the time, and then offer some more in-depth learning opportunities that are paid event. So, and then we'll get the monthly challenges, so you'll get those patterns. And the monthly challenges are open to every tier on Mighty Networks. And then you'll have access to that library as well, which is pretty cool. We'll get you guys all... I want you guys to be able to participate more as well with this new kind of plan. Instead of just watching me all the time, it's your turn. You guys get to jump in and do more and have fun, and this might also kind of take the pressure off of you guys with, if you haven't done all the past live stream projects yet, and there's some that you've been wanting to do, this is a great time to do that, to try to get caught up, tackle some of those other projects that you're really interested in. And we're going to be working on some good fundamentals along the way. So thanks, Cynthia. Terry says, I'd love if we could all meet up at that cabin that you have on the welcoming page. And so, Terry, that is another thing that has been on my bucket list for years, is to have an in-person retreat up here on our mountain. So that is definitely on my mind as well. One of these days, we'll get you guys up to our cabin. Zona, about when are you planning on doing the master class? So the master classes will be twice a year, one in June and one in November. The mini workshops, are going to be every other month, probably the last Friday of each month. So for January, it will be, I think, the 30th, 31st, something like that, the last Friday of each month. Cynthia, I like this dragon too. He's pretty cool. Steve says, something to ponder. If a man's pronouns are he, his, and him, shouldn't a woman's pronouns be she, shiz, and I don't know. That's different. Yeah, Zona, definitely jump into the new Mighty Networks. It is so homey. It's cozy. It's like you're coming home to a warm, cozy cabin with lots of friends. That's kind of the idea and the feeling that I had behind this new update. Also, for those of you that are that didn't listen in on last week's class, all the live stream library is still there on Mighty Networks. That will be there for forever. So once you guys, if you want to join on Mighty Networks, you get instant access to a ton of past projects and patterns, depending, on the tier that you join in on. But there's nearly 200 live streams archived over there. So if you haven't joined Mighty Networks, definitely consider it. It is a fantastic community. It's just gorgeous, and there's lots to learn and share and grow. Thank you, Vivian. I really appreciate your support. I have been doing free weekly live streams, 2 hours each, for almost 3 years. And in order for me to keep teaching, I have got to do something different. So sometimes change is scary, sometimes change is good, all of the same. So we'll just give it a go, and everything's just developing, nothing's set in stone. So that's kind of where I'm at. Connie says, just know that when I do the past live streams, you get long rests at times when you pause. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's an awesome thing. When you go back through that library, that huge library of past projects and live streams, you can, fast forward through the intros. You can pause if I'm going too quickly. It's really nice to be able to have that at your fingertips. The dog needs in or out, and you can just put me on pause and then come back. So that live stream archive library is so valuable for that. And we have done so many different projects that I think if you haven't, if there's a certain subject or style or technique that you're looking for, we've probably covered it there over the years. So thanks, Tracy. Zona, it would be so cool to have a retreat. That would be fantastic. And hopefully I can do that. We've, we have a family cabin. Unfortunately, it's not as beautiful as the one on Mighty Networks, but the setting is beautiful. And we are in the process of moving forward on some renovations with our little cabin, and hopefully make it accessible for classes. Thank you, Mina, for sharing the link there to our paid platform community on Mighty Networks. Yeah, you guys will love it here. It's just gorgeous. Mina has a great list of other perks for the Mighty Network community. You get monthly discounts each month based on your tier level. You get free project patterns, comprehensive video library, engage with the community, live stream access, polls, guidance from me, members only gallery, video resources, and so much more. Amy, you say, as a newbie, it's great to have so many resources available on Mighty Networks. Awesome. That's wonderful to hear, and you're very welcome. It's been a while, building this, and I think it's time to just make it even better. Laura, we've learned so much. Aw, thank you. That makes me very happy to know. Thanks, Terry. Vivian, yep, a retreat. Sounds fun. Awesome. Thanks, Tracy. Yeah, the community is just so fantastic. And I want to thank everybody for being so fantastic with each other on Mighty Networks. Whenever there's a question, you guys jump right in and help answer questions and lead people kind of where they need to be and that's very much appreciated. Very awesome. I also want to thank you guys for sharing me and Wood Burning University on Facebook. I see a lot of you guys do that and invite people to take a look at Wood Burning University, especially in these online Facebook groups for wood burning. I am not allowed to self-promote, and so I really appreciate that you guys can jump in there and steer people, you know, this way, and that is a huge help, and I just want to thank you guys for that as well. Let's see, Lisa, you saw the post on the steampunk peacock. Yeah, where is it? It's over there. Hang on. So that is a good thing to visit about. I know we've been talking about adding color to the steampunk peacock project for forever. And you know me, before I add color, I want to make sure that everything is finished out. Hi, Kendale. And so this is kind of where I'm at. Instead of doing the solid black background, I decided to do kind of more of a tedious shading project to make it just a little bit darker. The cherry color is so gorgeous that I wanted to kind of enrichen this a bit more. And so this is what it's going to turn out. I still have a few more layers up here towards the top. And in all transparency and honesty, I don't know if I'll be able to add color to this one or not. We'll see when it's all done, and then I'll probably put it in Photoshop and play with some color options. I don't know. The way that it's turning out, it's like velvet, the background. It looks just so beautiful. So I really need to think on that. And, you know, we can push those Yuli watercolors to a new project. If I just can't bring myself to add color to this one, there's that option as well. I still have another piece of cherry. We can do a project on that. I was thinking I have a round piece of cherry of just doing a peacock feather on the cherry wood, and then we can add the Yuli watercolors to that one. Because I have so much time in this one now, I'm almost afraid of messing up and ruining it if I really botch the color. So wanted to give you guys a little bit of update on that one. So thank you very much for that question, Lisa. Hi, Ronald. Thanks so much for being here. Welcome. Vivian. You'll bring a fire extinguisher to the retreat. Cool. Yes, and absolutely, Tracy. A huge, big thank you to Mina for always being here and helping to answer questions, throwing out chat and links, and then all of her help on Mighty Networks as well with our Bear Den family. She's always there, helps me out behind the scenes, uploading stuff. Just, she's all over it. So big round of applause for Mina and a big thank you to her as well. Okay, so Cynthia, you've been watching the live stream on burning the squirrel for the fur. You're still struggling with it, but you think it's finished. Cool. Yeah, I think I have that one right here because I was going to kind of work on that a little bit too. Is there anything that I could maybe show or touch base on with the squirrel fur? If you have a question on that. It's been sitting over here waiting to get finished up for a while. At least that that is awesome that new people are here because you guys are always talking about me. I appreciate that very, very much. Larry, you like the background on the peacock better. I agree, Lisa. It is very rich and beautiful. Jezere, you don't think it needs color? Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm not sure that I can add color. We'll see when it's all done. I'll play around in Photoshop and see. Hi, Drake Crow. Welcome. And we have a new one. Hi, Tango Zulu. Tango Zulu. Okay, 900. Welcome. Thanks so much. Lisa says that's something you've wanted to do, a peacock feather with color. So that's kind of what I'm thinking too, in lieu of adding color to that really big peacock project, of just doing a feather on cherry. And we'll see what we can do with that. Terry, you don't think it needs color? Yeah, I'm really not wanting to do that either. We'll see. Yep. That's what I'm thinking too, guys. It's just the peacock with all of the details. I think the color might be too much for it. Shoot, I think I missed questions here. Okay. Kendall, you mentioned me to a man at work whose daughter is getting into wood burning. Cool. Yep, that is awesome. Okay, so Terry, you're talking about the long hair on the tail of the... You want me to show some long hair on the squirrel? Okay. So, yeah, with the fur on the tail, you really want to push those darks as much as you can. Follow your texture and the direction of it. This, I think, is a good start, but it needs so many more layers in here. And that's where your key is going to lie, is just lots and lots of layers. I think I still have too much of the unburned wood kind of showing through in some of these sections. So layers, layers, layers is where it's at. And then make sure that your darks are pushed enough as well. And right now, so it's kind of very bristly. So in that case, I can even add some soft shading. Not so much texture as it is just blending. And that can make it look fuller and more fluffy as well. But fur is all about that nice balance between texture and shading. Oh, I see, Vivian. Cool. Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, Terry, we can take a look here more on the tail. You know, I don't I don't have my reference photo here, but I can just see that my darks need to be richer. So I can come back in and darken those up quite a bit. And then add a little bit more shading as well. Kendall says, I think the way the hair on the tail looks like it's curling to the left and the light is hitting it just right. Yes. Yeah, it's supposed to kind of do a big wave, but I think some of this section down in here could be a little bit darker. We worked on this project quite a bit, and I usually like to kind of putter around and do all that nitpicking and finish it up, and I have not gotten to that yet, but just lots of layers. Layers. Cynthia is asking if I'm using the swing motion or the airplane motion. Yes, generally I do. Whenever I put the burner down on the wood, I gently touch down like an airplane, and then travel along a little bit and then lift off like a swing set or an airplane. Let's see. Michelle is asking, do people do more than one project at a time. Normally I only do one, but I am thinking about doing a burning of your puppy you lost last week. Aw. Or should you wait? That is a good question, and it really comes down to, I think, personal preference. Some people like to see a project through, start to finish, and get it done before they move on to something else. Other people find that maybe a little limiting, and they like to ride whichever creative wave strikes them at any one time, and they'll work on multiple projects at once. So I think it just kind of depends on which is best for you. I have projects everywhere. They're stashed in closets and cupboards and everywhere. But sometimes I get inspiration to do certain things, and then I jump on that, and then I get burnt out, and I'm like, okay, well, what else? I might finish this other thing. So I bounce around from project to project for sure. But not everybody is like that. Some people just put their head down and finish one. So take a look at which option maybe gives you the most energy and excitement. If you're excited to see it through to the end, stick with that. If you're excited to start on something new, go with that too. Zona, you need to practice fur. Yep. Oh, you're going to do pet portraits this year. Awesome. Zona is asking if I have a particular project to use as a practice piece for fur or hair. This one here, you know, the squirrel, this was a great project because it has both the short, stubby fur and then the long fur as well. Tracy, sometimes you work on 2 to 3 projects each day. Desiree, you're like more personally obsessive and you have to finish one before you start another one. Yeah, that's totally fine. There is absolutely no right or wrong answer to that one. Cynthia, this helps. You have shorter strokes. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the main thing that I find with fur. If I am burning long fur, I use long strokes. If I'm working on short fur, then you're going to have those short, stubbly, back and forth motions. Yeah, and so I see a big difference already in this section of the tail just by taking out some of that unburned wood down here. Just hitting it with a little bit of shading will soften it and make it look less coarse and more fluffy. But I really think that for me, I have to put in the texture first and then fill in the shading later. Hi, Angela. Terry says, what do you do with sanding? When you did the feather challenge after sanding, the wood felt soft and smooth, but when you started to burn, it still had areas that caught. It could just be the wood. Sometimes the burner has sharper tidbits like burrs, or I don't like those knife edge points because they catch for me. And it could just be, sometimes the wood grain can affect that as well, as far as it catching. Definitely, Zona, take a look at the past live streams. It's very easy to see all the past live streams based on skill level. If on the left-hand side of the screen on Mighty Networks, scroll down until you see, I think it says pattern library or something to that effect, past patterns or something like that. And then you can go in and click on those and you'll get a visual of each of the projects that we did. So it's much easier to find what you're looking for. But yes, we did one of the very first live streams that we did when I started about 3 years ago, Zona, was a pet portrait. And it was a puppy dog, and it had, you know, these big expressive eyes, long, like hairy ears, and then shorter hair on the face. So that would be a really good one to start with as well. That was in the premium tier several years ago. So that's a good one there. The mountain lion had short fur. This guy has both long and short. Oh, no, 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 no. What happened? Come on. Okay, I think I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Everything just, like, had a stroke. So, I think we're back. Everything got disconnected on its own, and then we're back. So, yay! Okay, you can see me. Thanks, Mina. Let's see. Lisa, you were having troubles with your point kind of catching, and your tip had carbon buildup. That is a very good point as well. If you're burning and it kind of catches and sticks, it doesn't quite dig in, it just sticks and then won't slide, definitely take a look at the carbon point. Very good. Yep, sorry about that technical glitch there. It happens. Lisa, how are the kitties, and do we have snow? We have a little bit of snow, not much. We should have, you know, probably 4 feet of snow by now, and we have, I don't know, less than a foot probably, which is kind of sad. Especially come fire season this next summer. It can be scary. So hopefully that helps on the squirrel, on the fur that we're working on. I can jump back to work on the dragon for a bit. And the kitties are doing very well. They follow me around relentlessly and insist on snuggles pretty much all day long. So they're good. Terry, you'll just blame carbon buildup when you do the lighter areas with the stop-start marks. There you go. You're welcome, Terry. I hope the squirrel demo was helpful there. I don't know where I'm going to go next. Maybe some of the rock work here. It's horizontal, but normally when I work on horizontal stuff, I'll turn the wood, but this is fine. Jezere, that's a good point too. Sometimes the wood can be very punky and it doesn't burn very well. Hi there, Kim. Welcome. So Kim is talking to Terry regarding Terry's question about sanding the wood. Kim suggests trying to spray the wood lightly with water and then let it dry. It will raise the grain and then you can do your final sanding. Very good. Yep, that is a good point as well. I've heard about that. I've not done it before. Generally I sand, you know, I start with 220, go to 320, 400, and then 600 for the most part. Where am I? Here I am. So I like to get some of my darks in first. Like this rock chunk here, you can see where it looks kind of rounded as an outcrop. So we're going to have darker shading on each end and it'll be lighter in the middle. Yeah, thanks Tango Zulu. I think the kitties they're sleeping right now, but a lot of times they'll, I mean, you guys have seen them jump off of one thing and land on me, or trying to catch a cat with one hand and put the burner over there with the other hand. So they're all behaving right now, which is helpful. They're cute. You guys saw in the critter corner my chipper cat. Here, I'll show you. So there's my chipper cat. Him and his sister are nearly identical. And so that was my post for the critter corner. And I think it was Rick that said that it was funny that my critter is actually on a corner. Which I hadn't even considered when I posted it there, but so many cute little critters in our critter corner. Larry says the dragon reminds you of the flying creatures in the movie Avatar. Cool. Yeah, it does. So we have some little bushes and stuff over here too. Zona says, speaking of Velcro kitties, you had major surgery Wednesday. Oh no. And both your gingers insist on laying with you unpurring. Aw. Well, I hope that you have a quick recovery. That surgery business is no fun. Lisa says, what you're doing right now is reminding you to ask about the Liberty Bell. Cool. So the Liberty Bell, that's the one with the big crack in it, correct? Jezere. The Dragon Riders of Pern. That's exactly what this is, Jezere. That's the book series that I've been reading. There's like 25 books or something in the series now. The main author, she passed away, and now her son is writing books. And I've read them over the years, kind of like maybe once through, and it was so disjointed, and I couldn't remember who was who, so I'm reading them back to back, well, listening to them back to back now. And that got me thinking of, I have not done a dragon wood burning at the time, so that is where I got the idea for this one. Absolutely. No, I love the Dragon Riders of Pern. I first came across that, golly, in like middle school or something. It's been a while. Of course, they came out a long time ago, too. Lisa says the crack on the Liberty Bell burning needs to have depth. Should I make it more jagged in the crack? I'd have to take a look at the reference photo, but yeah, pretty much. Hi there. I have no idea how to pronounce your name, but hi and welcome. So for the crack, you'll want so I don't want to just, let me put it in a crack here. So right here, I'm just going to draw one in, or right here is a good example of what you can't see. We'll come back up here. If I just draw a crack like that, it's going to look a little bit more flat. So rounding the edges here a little bit is a good way to give it more depth. And you can do that with the crack as well. So if you have kind of a jagged crack like this, you can add some kind of peeling off like this. But I like to kind of add a little bit more as it intersects there. A little bit. You know what I mean? So instead of it just branching off like lightning, make it almost look like you got a chunk missing out of there. I like that. I think it's pretty cool. But again, it would be based on the reference photo. Oh, it is posted as a work in progress. Cool, Lisa. I'll take a look at that. Hi there. No, I'm lagging again. Come on. I don't know why we're lagging. Okay. Am I back? Almost. Okay. Sorry, had a little bit of lag there. Okay, not sure. And now audio. Well, that was fun. Okay, I had a lot of visiting and now I'm back. So I meant to say, hi Jesse, welcome. Thanks for being here. Lisa, I will definitely take a look at your picture. Sorry for the tech troubles here this evening. It's just seems to be that kind of night, unfortunately. Hi Patrick, welcome from Pennsylvania. Glad that you're here as well. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Yep. Sorry, guys. There is a little bit of delay there, bit of buffering. So sorry about that. Okay. One of those nights. And it seems to like come and go. Sometimes, most of the time, we have no problems with the live stream. Everything works fine. And other times, it's a challenge. So, anyway, yeah. This rock work here is really fun to kind of play around with for texture and all of that. I'm going to get to where we can see a little bit better here. Maybe. Yeah. Tech is not my friend tonight. Hi there, Christian. Welcome. So sorry for all of the tech troubles. So yeah, normally I'll hang out here a little bit longer tonight, guys. That's totally fine. We've got some new people kind of jumping in for the first time. Thanks for being here. Normally we meet on Friday nights to work on some projects. I am changing up my schedule a little bit, but if you haven't subscribed, definitely do that here on YouTube, because my schedule is a little bit different this new year. So instead of every Friday night, there might be a few hit and miss with some other classes going on. So definitely make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell thing so that whenever I schedule a live stream, you won't miss out. So but yep, tonight is just a chat and burn session, and we're just kind of chilling out instead of an in-depth step-by-step thing. We're just bouncing around some questions, hanging out like you guys are here in the studio, and we're working on different projects. I was working on a big kind of a woman portrait with a flowing gown last week, so thought this would be fun to work on a dragon. So yeah, for those people that are just kind of showing up this evening, kind of later in the live stream, definitely go back and rewatch the beginning of the live stream because we talk about so much with the upcoming schedule. Larry, normally I'm just going to do one hour. I'm not going to go 2 hours tonight. I might hang in here for a little bit longer. Just ask to see if anybody has questions, especially some of the new people coming in or anybody. We kind of had technical challenges there towards the end. So if you have a question that you haven't had a chance to throw out there yet, let me know. And I'll just hang in here for a little bit, Larry. But no, I won't be doing another 2 hours tonight. But we did, for like 3 years, almost 3 years, do a 2-hour live stream each Friday. So that was a huge, huge endeavor. All right, let's see if we can't get this claw and this foot finished up tonight, and then we'll see kind of where we're at. Yeah, absolutely, Laura. Technology is great when it cooperates. Okay, Terry has a question. Do you think it would be okay to change your signature on your art? Yes, I think that that is totally fine. I would say that your signature will change over time like your artwork. I did the same thing, had a very consistent signature, and I changed it up here in the last year or so to something a little bit more, I thought, better and more interesting. So yeah, I think that that's totally fine. All right, let's put kind of a little shadow on the side of the talon. And then blend it slightly so we still get that little bit of a shine. And we have rocks. Yeah, I think, Terry, as long as you do, I don't know, you don't change it up all the time, I think you'll be fine. But if it's been pretty consistent for a while and then you decide to update it, I think that that's totally fine. So we have some neat little ridges here on the toes. That's a little small, isn't it, guys? Oh, wrong way. Steve is asking if I've ever done a wood burning of a raccoon wearing a human skin cap. I think that's a different one. I have not. That's pretty unusual there. All right, so we have some nice little crinkles. Toe crinkles. We'll do a touch of shading, and yeah, this, in hindsight, I should have not tried to wood burn a white dragon because that is a bit more of a challenge. Let's see, Terry, you thinking of going from T-Mills to TLM? There is something that I remember hearing. I don't know if it was my dad or some gallery or something that was talking about an artist's signature and whether to do your full name or initials. Generally, they suggested to do your full name because if somebody finds your art later in life and they're like, oh, I love this, but I don't know who made it because there's just initials, they won't be able to find you to maybe purchase another artwork. So as far as long-term thinking, you might consider actually doing your full name. Just in that mindset for collectors that might want to purchase more of your artwork. But it's totally up to you, however you want to do that. That's just a little tip that I heard many years ago. So let's see. Jezera, you're hoping to convince your husband to design a sign for you and then electric brand created. I've seen those little brands. That's pretty cool. That's very neat. Good night, Tracy. Also, Terry and Mina, if you're looking at signature options, there are some companies out there that can make you a signature, like however you kind of want it to look like. Anyway, there are some neat resources out there if you're stuck. Like, my cursive often looks like a kindergartner did it. So by utilizing some of these other resources to make a signature for you, it looks really nice and classy and professional. So okay, I'm almost done with this foot here, and then we'll probably just kind of wrap up with some questions and call it a lovely evening. So last minute questions, go ahead and throw those in there. I will finish up this talon, or try to, the toes. And then we'll review questions and go from there. Got lots more crinkles up here on his leg. There we go. Okay, that's cool. Alrighty. So we'll kind of zoom out and take a look at that. Those toes and talons are really very, very fun. Make sure you get your crinkles in there. Put your shading underneath. And don't forget to leave some highlights on the talons themselves. Whee. Mr. Dragon. Yeah, this is going to be a cool project. For sure. Let me see her. Last questions. Hi, Brian. You love the reference to Pern. Awesome. Yep. It's such a cool series. Very neat book series. Amy says, what are some things you wish you knew when you first started wood burning? The different types of wood, I had no idea that it would create such a difference. Other things that I wish I'd known with wood burning, sanding the guidelines down really well before burning over them, because once you burn over them, they're really hard to remove. I wish I would have had the confidence to go darker sooner in a project. Sometimes I kind of snuck up on things a little bit too much. So knowing that I can go darker sooner, confidently, I wish I would have known that as well. Yeah, that's a good question. I'll definitely have to think on that a bit more. Sand the wood, very good thing. I didn't do that when I first started. I didn't know. Very good question. Let's see. Michelle, you're going to do a portrait on paper. What's the best paper to burn on? Oof. I had that. Let me see. I don't know if I have that in my book or not. As far as paper. There's hot pressed paper and then there's cold pressed paper and watercolor paper. And I forget which is which, but you're going to want the one that does not have the bumpy texture. One of them has a much bumpier texture and one is much flatter and smoother. Go with the smoother one. Very good question. Vivian, the chat moved quickly. Oh yes, I will look up Popcorn's portrait. Cool. You can use feedback on the white poodle fur. Okay, thank you. I will look at that as well. Terry says you want for your signature something nice and your name has no flourishes and you can just get one to look decent. Gotcha. I understand that as well. Okay. Yep, Amy, this is all about just soaking up the information. I love it. Lisa, you have a brand for your signature. Very cool. Yeah, definitely practice with that, because if you don't stamp exactly flat and you kind of have it tipped, you only get like a crescent moon type burn. So practice stamping. If you use one of those metal stamps, get some practice with those before you put it on your project. Thanks, Kendale. Glad you enjoyed the toe crinkles there. See, Lisa says, when you first started, you wished that the burner you had bought had more information on how each tip works and what it's good for. That's a good point. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Christian. Yep, definitely appreciate everybody being here. It's been a fun evening. Seems like with this shorter time frame, with only an hour, boy, the questions are really going. And I really appreciate everybody being here. Terry, you're still working on wood burning lighter areas with airplane motion. Yep. Ah, thanks, Zona. Heat pressed watercolor paper is smooth. Cold pressed watercolor paper is bumpy. So go for heat pressed. Thanks, thanks, Christian. Good night, Cynthia. Thanks for being here. Zona, you freehand your signature. Very cool. Ah, but you like a branding iron too. Nice. Hi, Larry. Yeah, we had technical challenges on our end here. Glad that you're back. Cool. Let's see, Vivian says a good thing to do is wet the wood a little bit before you burn your stamp on it. It avoids overburn a little. Oh, that's good to know. Cool. You're welcome. Thanks for being here, Steve. Thanks, Connie. All right, I'm at the bottom of the feed, and I think we got through everybody's questions for now. If you have any other questions, woodburningu, the letter U, @gmail.com, or join us over in our wonderful community on Mighty Networks. So thanks a bunch. Be watching for information coming out on my mini workshop at the end of the month. Thanks a bunch, guys. I will see you later. Bye. I can find them. Nowhere to go.